UFC 268 Usman versus Covington 2 is finally here. It takes place in only a matter of hours, and I'm going to go through my last minute detailed prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. I'm not just saying who I believe is going to win. I've done that earlier this week. I'm trying to call every single fight, exactly how it's going to go. If it goes to a decision, I'm trying to call the scorecards and who's going to win each round and how each round is going to play out. If there's a knockout, I'm trying to call which limb it's going to be on an opponent. I'm trying to call what submission will be used to obtain a submission victory. I'm trying to call every fight exactly how it's going to go, minute by minute, second by second, starting with the early prelim opener of CJ Vergara versus Ode Osbourne. Right, well, there's been an update. CJ Vergara missed weight, but I'm still going to pick him over Ode Osbourne. I trust him to get this one done. I've got a feeling about it. I think he's going to go out there and get a first round TKO finish over Ode Osbourne. I can see Ode Osbourne picking him apart at range at the first part of the round. Second minute of the round, I feel like CJ Vergara is going to start to mount a little bit of a comeback, do a little bit better for himself, land a couple of shots back on Ode Osbourne. I think Ode Osbourne is going to go in for some bigger exchanges, look for finishes, maybe jump into a knee, but get it smothered by CJ Vergara and end up in the clinch against the cage where CJ Vergara is going to knee his fire a couple of times, land a couple of body shots, land a couple of knees to the body on the break as well. Now CJ Vergara's got him against the cage. He's the one pushing forward. He's cutting off the cage. Ode Osbourne is against the cage, moving backwards, trying to flick out jabs. Front kicks, a couple of kicks here and there to keep range, but CJ Vergara goes in there, lands a big hook, rocks Ode Osbourne. Ode Osbourne sort of stumbles back into the cage. CJ Vergara jumps into a knee to the body, more knees to the body, more body shots, more head shots. Ode Osbourne sort of covering up a little bit, going a bit stanky leg. He's throwing back, he's trying to stay alive against the cage, but CJ Vergara catches him with another clean hook, puts him down, lands a couple more knees to the body on the way back up. Ode Osbourne crumples, gets the TKO finish against him in the first round. CJ Vergara by first round TKO due to body shots and big hooks to the chin. Moving on up the card, Melsik Bagdasaryan versus Bruno Souza. I'm going to be going with Melsik Bagdasaryan, and I'll say Melsik wins this one by second round TKO. I think Bruno Souza's going to go out there, test the waters on the feet a little bit in the first minute of the fight, land a couple of decent shots. Melsik's just going to be downloading information, seeing what the guy on short notice is going to go out there and try and do, because often they come out there looking for the first round KO immediately because they haven't had the best of training camps. Melsik's downloading information. First minute goes by, he's taken a couple of leg kicks, given a couple of leg kicks back, landed a couple of jabs. Pretty slow first part of the round. The second minute's the same thing, but now Melsik's starting to land a few more shots. Bruno Souza's starting to swing heavy but miss a couple of big shots. Melsik's chopping at the legs, he's going to the body even more. Bruno Souza shoots at the halfway point of the first round, gets Melsik Bagdasaryan down against a cage, but Bagdasaryan's going to work his way back up, frame off, get back to his knee. Bruno Souza's got a body lock against a cage, he's trying to put one hook in, he's landing a couple of punches on Melsik. We've got about a minute left in the round, a minute and a half left. They get back at range, Melsik landing bigger shots. Towards the last 30 seconds of the first round, Melsik lands a couple of big body kicks, maybe a head kick lands, but it's partially blocked. Then Melsik starts landing some big punches in the second round. At the start of it, you can see Bruno Souza starting to slow down a little bit. He's taken some leg kicks, he's taken some body shots, he's taken some kicks upstairs. He shoots again in the second round, gets it sprawled. Melsik sprawls, lands some good shots from the north-south position, takes the backside, lands some good shots from there. Bruno Souza works his way back up to his feet, and Melsik just finishes him against the cage with like a partially blocked head kick. A couple of punches afterwards, down goes Bruno Souza, and he follows up with ground and pound shots against the cage. Melsik Bagdasaryan, second round TKO. Moving on up the card, Dustin Jacoby versus John Allan. I'm going to go with Dustin Jacoby here on short notice. I didn't even make a prediction for this fight. I think he gets this one done by TKO. I think there's going to be a lot of TKOs on this card, by the way, and that's why they've made these matchups, because there's a very high likelihood of finishes occurring. I'm going with Dustin Jacoby here. I think he'll get a first round KO over John Allan. I just don't see John Allan really posing much threat whatsoever. He's somewhat good. I think the first minute they're both going to be touching each other up on the feet, leg kicks, couple jabs here and there. Dustin Jacoby kind of up on the numbers, but John Allan swinging heavy, missing a couple of big shots. Midway pointed around, John Allan's pushing him against the cage. Jacoby separates, lands a couple of knees to the body, lands some more heavy leg kicks. Now they're starting to affect John Allan. Heavier leg kicks start to land. Dustin Jacoby lands like a clean 1-2 on the chin of John Allan, rocks him a little bit. Allan sort of moving with his back against the cage, partially rocked. Jacoby's cutting off the cage, lands a big knee in the clinch, leg kicks again at range, lands a big 1-2 to a leg kick kick combo. Falls, does John Allan to the canvas. I think Jacoby's going to like kick his leg out from underneath him after rocking him on the feet. Allan goes down. Couple of follow-up shots. Dustin Jacoby by first round KO. It's going to be a fun card, I guess. Moving on up the card, Gian Villante versus Chris Barnett. I think this might be the card of the year, I guess, by my own predictions. I'm going to call a Chris Barnett first round spinning back kick KO. He's a Taekwondo guy. He's got his own Taekwondo school. He's got a nasty, nasty spinning back kick to the body. He's got nasty wheel kicks as well. And Gian Villante has not trained for this fight whatsoever. He's a fat lump of shit. And Chris Barnett is also a fat lump of shit. But he is destined from birth to be a fat lump of shit. We know Gian Villante has the ability to be in shape. He doesn't care about this fight. Doesn't have any structural support to the body. It's not even like a good gut on him like a Roy Nelson or a Chris Barnett gut that's going to help take body shots. It's just useless flab around his stomach. I feel like Chris Barnett's going to land a couple of big shots early. Gian Villante sticking a jab out there, winning on the straight shots, landing a couple of good jabs on Chris Barnett, a couple of decent leg kicks here and there to the inside leg, outside leg, maybe a couple of body shots. But Chris Barnett's going to land a bunch of big shots upstairs, hurt Gian Villante a couple of times, but take his time in there, land a good spinning back kick to the body, pushes Gian Villante against the cage. He hunches over with his body, held with his hand, down on one knee, and Chris Barnett just shovel uppercuts him into a finish after hurting him to the body with a spinning back kick. Chris Barnett spinning back kick KO. This is going to be a great card. 4 performance bonuses already. It's over. No one else on the card can earn any. Moving on up the card, Garry versus Jordan Williams. I'm actually going to call a different thing here. A lot of people might think, Garry fight is going to be a TKO. I'm going to go decision. I think Jordan Williams is a pretty tough guy. I know he got finished by CM Punk. I know he got finished by Mickey Gall, the guy who beat CM Punk in his last fight. Jesus, if you fucking lost to CM Punk, I swear to God. But I think Jordan Williams typically is actually a very good fighter. We saw that against Nassourdine Imavov. We saw that against Ramazan Kuramagomedov. We saw that against Gregory Rodriguez. We saw that against... He's fought a lot of good opponents in his career. Rodrigo Vargas is no joke. Dwight Grant is no joke on the regional scene. I mean, he's a tough guy, man. I don't think he's going to get KO'd here by Garry. I think Garry's going to go out there, have a solid first round. Maybe, like... It would have been a 10-8 if he dropped him kind of round. I think Garry's going to school him in the first round, landing big shots, do very well in the second round, but it's going to be a little bit closer. Then I think we're going to have like a fun, entertaining, scrappy third round between Jordan Williams and Garry. Williams has some moments in the third round, but Garry still wins the round, and I think it's going to be like an Garry 30-27. Maybe there's an argument at a standing 10-8 in the first round where he doesn't knock down Jordan Williams, but rocks him a couple of times on the feet with some straight left hands, straight right hands. He switches stances quite well. I feel like Jordan Williams is going to get tagged up in the first round pretty badly. Hit with some kicks in the first round, broken down a little bit as well. Second round, it gets scrappy. Garry maybe gets a takedown at one point, stays on top for a little bit, lands a couple of shots, secures the second round. Third round, I think it's going to get scrappy. Both guys landing big shots, both guys with their hands up at the end. They both had an amazing fight, but Garry schooled him 30-27 in realism. I just don't see a quick finish for Garry. Decision. Maybe there's some good odds on it. Moving on up the card, Edmen Shahbazyan versus Nassourdine Imavov. Is this low down? Okay. I'm going to go Nassourdine Imavov. I'm going to go body shot TKO in the third round against Edmen Shahbazyan. Edmen Shahbazyan slows down a lot. I think he's going to have a good first round. He's going to be outlanding Nassourdine Imavov. I just don't think he's going to have the power to finish him. I think Nassourdine's going to be pushing him against the cage, kneeing him to the fire, going for a couple of takedowns to get stuffed by Edmen, but it's like a tough effort to stuff the takedowns of Nassourdine Imavov. Shahbazyan manages to stay on his feet, land a couple of more big shots in the round, but he's taking his time. He's conscious about his gas tank. Imavov's landed a couple of good leg kicks, a couple of good knees to the body against the cage, a couple of good knees in the first round, starts to pick that up in the second round. Maybe Shahbazyan barely wins the second, but towards like the last 2 minutes of the second round, Imavov's starting to land a lot more body shots, a couple of big shots upstairs, a couple of good leg kicks now. Maybe he gets a takedown in the last 30 seconds, lands a couple of good shots, but it's Edmen Shahbazyan's round maybe, but the tides are changing. Then the third round comes around, Imavov lands some big shots, Edmen Shahbazyan's covering up a little bit more, has a few moments of a burst in the first minute of the third round, but Imavov's starting to walk him down, knee him to the body against the cage. Shahbazyan circling out, trying to get the center of the cage back, but Imavov's cutting off the cage, keeping him against the cage, landing big shots to the body, landing big knees to the body as well. Big shots upstairs. Shahbazyan starting to take some damage, touching at his eye, it's swelling up, his nose is bleeding a little bit, his lip is busted up a little bit. Another big body shot from Nassourdine Imavov. Down goes Shahbazyan in the third round. 1 minute to go, I'll say. Imavov gets it done in the third by TKO. Moving on up the card, Phil Hawes versus Chris Curtis. I'm going to go with a first round KO in like under a minute for Phil Hawes. it's not even that much. I'm not really disrespecting Chris Curtis. It's just like there's a level of opponent where if Phil Hawes is going to beat them, it's going to be by first minute KO. Like there's sometimes you can be like 5% better than someone, but that 5% of better than someone can lead you to KO them brutally because that's what you do. Like Chandler, if he's going to beat someone, there's a high chance it's going to be fucking brutally, even if he has a low chance of doing it. Phil Hawes, I think, gets this one done by first round KO. Chris Curtis just a little bit shaken off the get-go, throws a couple of big shots early, gets countered big time by Phil Hawes, feels the power, starts to move backwards a little bit, starts to scurry around, but Phil Hawes is tracking him down. Big right hand, down goes Chris Curtis, like a 50-second KO for Phil Hawes in the first round. Moving on up the card, Iaquinta versus Bobby Green. I'm going to go with Bobby Green. And I'm going to go Bobby Green by 29-27 decision. Very, very specific here. I think Bobby Green and Iaquinta are going to have a decent first round. No, I'll say 30-26 decision for Bobby Green. I think they're going to have a very good first round. Both guys landing some decent shots. Green winning it early, but Iaquinta starting to have some moments in like the third, fourth and fifth minute of the round. Not the fifth minute, but like the last minute of the round, you know what I mean? The fifth segment of the minute segments of the round. Iaquinta's going to start landing some decent shots. Maybe go for a takedown, get it stuffed, but he's going to be going for it and landing these to the thigh and stuff like that. Bobby Green landing good 1-2s, couple of good leg kicks, couple of good body kicks as well on Iaquinta. Then second round, who knows who wins the first round? I guess you can give it to Bobby Green because of the volume. Bobby Green wins the first round. Second round, they're both landing good shots, but Bobby Green starts to pull ahead. Iaquinta's eyes swelling up, his lip is swelling up, his nose is starting to be a little bit more bloody. You can see his ribs are a bit more red from the more body kicks that Bobby Green's landing. Bobby Green's landing inside leg kicks, outside leg kicks, jab, jab, two, jab, jab, two. Iaquinta's swelling up even more. Landing big shots though here and there, but Green's taking them and dishing back like 3-punch combinations with 1-1-2s. Clear second round for Bobby Green. Third round comes around. Iaquinta gives it all he's got for about 2 minutes in the third round. Keeps it somewhat competitive, but Green's still getting the better of him. Landing more shots overall. Iaquinta starting to back up a little bit more. Put himself against the cage. Panic shooting a couple of takedowns. Green stuffs them. Makes him stand back up. Lands more shots on the feet. Big front kick to the body. Big body kick. Big leg kick. Minute and a half, minute left of the round. Iaquinta's really starting to run out of options. He can't really see too much out of one eye. He's taken a lot of damage here. He's been rocked a couple of times maybe as well, and Green's just starting to tee off on him, ripping against the cage. Iaquinta finds the centre of the cage again, but it's a pop 2 from Bobby Green again. Rocking him all over the place with about 30 seconds left. 10-8 in the third round, 30-26 Bobby Green. Moving on up the card, Alex Pereira versus Andreas Michailidis. I'm just going to stick with my picks. I don't care. I'm not being swayed by a weigh-in. I did not know Alex Pereira was that big. But I'm not being swayed by the weigh-in. I'm going to go with Andreas Michailidis. I think Alex Pereira is going to go out there, see what Michailidis has for him. I think Michailidis will land a couple of decent punches, a couple of decent kicks. Pereira will start analysing, taking notes, landing some real solid kicks of his own. Couple of good body kicks with some front teeps to the body. Couple of stiff jabs as well. Maybe he throws the left hook a couple of times, but he just doesn't quite find the range yet. Andreas Michailidis starts throwing high, dips under. Pereira starts sort of leaning back to land that check hook. As he leans back, I think Andreas is going to blast into a double leg, get him on the ground, start beating him up with some total strikes, get into half guard, start elbowing him a little bit, get into side control. Pereira's going to buck out, try and move away, giving up his back. And I think I'm going to call a first round rear naked choke submission for Andreas Michailidis. I think Pereira's going to be in side control on bottom, getting elbowed a couple of times in like a crucifix position. He's going to use sheer athleticism to buck himself out of it and get to his front on his knees. Andreas is going to take the backside, get wrist control, land a couple big shots again, put the hooks in, roll to his back, get the body triangle. They're going to fight the choke for about 40 seconds, but eventually Andreas is going to hit him with the old switcheroo, get the rear naked choke in the first round. I'm calling a big upset for Michailidis in Pereira's debut. Moving on up the card, Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. I'm going to go with Michael Chandler here. And that's opening up the main card. I'm going to go Michael Chandler by first round rear naked choke again. I think Justin Gaethje is going to go out there, try and throw some leg kicks. They're going to miss early on. Chandler's going to move out the way of them and land a couple of big right hands to the body. Gaethje's going to land maybe a decent shot to the head. Look okay for a second, land one leg kick on Michael Chandler. They're both being very patient. Chandler's going to land like a front kick to the body on Gaethje. Gaethje sort of smiles and shakes it off. They're still in the center. I think Gaethje's going to be the one moving backwards first. I don't see any other way. I think Chandler's going to be one pushing him backwards here, taking the center of the cage. Chandler lands another big body shot on Gaethje. Gaethje sort of goes fuck, I'm not really liking these body shots, let's be real. Tries to throw a check hook, doesn't really land it. Chandler throws his own leg kick and lands it, but Gaethje fires one immediately back, and Chandler's like, fuck, I don't want to play this leg kick game. Then Justin Gaethje's going to move. Chandler goes to the body again. Then Chandler sort of level changes to the body, fake touches at the leg, level changes again to a big right hand straight on Gaethje as he throws a leg kick moving backwards on one leg, falls to the ground. He's not out of it at all. He's just partially kind of stunned that, oh my god, I'm on the ground, I've kind of been dropped, but he's still with it. He tries popping right back up, rolls over to his back. This is about halfway into the first round. Michael Chandler jumps on the back, puts the hooks in as Gaethje's getting back up, and Gaethje immediately gives up the rear naked choke, and I think it's going to be a first round submission. Gaethje doesn't tap and goes out cold to the choke. Moving on, I'm calling a Michael Chandler first round rear naked choke. Moving on up the card, Shane Burgos versus Billy Quarantillo. I'm going to go with Shane Burgos. I think Shane Burgos wins this one by decision. I think he wins it by 29-28 split decision. I think he rightfully wins the fight, but I'm going to call a split decision here. I think first round is going to actually go to Billy Quarantillo, who puts quite a bit of a pace on. He's going to the head of Shane Burgos. He's landing some good shots. He's landing his own decent body shots as well, but Shane Burgos is landing the bigger shots, and he's also landing big shots to the body. And as the round goes on, he's going to start to find his range more and more with jabs and straight right hands, start moving his head a little bit more out there as well. Quarantillo's maybe going to get a takedown early on in the first 2 minutes. Burgos will get back up. Quarantillo takes him down again. Burgos gets back up. Quarantillo goes for a takedown again. Doesn't quite get it, but he settles on the back position with the body lock. Knees to the thigh, a couple of knees to the body. They separate. Quarantillo's trying to keep a pace on him, but he's taken too many body shots, too many leg kicks, hard body shots as well from Shane Burgos. Brutal body shots that he has. A couple of hard body kicks as well from Shane Burgos, I think, are going to land. A couple of hard leg kicks as well. And Billy Quarantillo in the second round is going to have a much closer round after winning the first on pressure and volume to the head. Slowing down a little bit in a second, shoots another takedown, gets it for a second. Burgos gets back up to his feet, one knee against the cage. Good knee to the body from Burgos. He gets double unders, turns to clinch around, gets his own takedown for a second. Quarantillo's getting back up. Burgos landing a good knee to the head, a good knee to the body. Couple of body shots on the break, and Quarantillo's in the center of the cage around the halfway point of round two. Still throwing down. They're both throwing down in the center of the cage. It's going to be a fight of the night performance for sure. Quarantillo's starting to get battered a little bit. He's starting to take some damage. Burgos is walking him down a little bit towards the end of the second round. Quarantillo's still landing shots and may maybe outland Burgos in the second round minorly, like 33-31 or something like that. But Shane Burgos is going to be getting all the reactions out of Quarantillo. Quarantillo's going to be changing body language. He's going to be hunching over after a couple of body shots, making some noises after some punches to the chin, gulping a little bit out there. I think he's going to get stumbled for a second at one point. Burgos still moving forward at the last waypoint of the second round. Then the third round, I think, is going to be like a search and destroy for Shane Burgos. I think he'll win it quite comfortably, but Quarantillo's going to stay in there, have his moments as well. But Shane Burgos ends on the ground, raining down ground and pound. Not enough for a 10-8 round, but a clear 10-9 in the third. A close second that goes to Shane Burgos, and Quarantillo nicks to first. And I think he's going to get a fight of the night performance for both of them. Moving on up the card, Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera. I'm going to go with Edgar having a decent first round, winning the first round. I think the first minute's going to go to Marlon Vera. I think he's going to land a lot of leg kicks early, a lot of body kicks early, a lot of knees to the body, a lot of punches upstairs, a couple of elbows. Edgar gets a takedown, stays on top reasonably well. Vera gets back up, Edgar takes him back down. I think he's going to land a couple of total strikes, but Vera's going to be elbowing off bottom, throwing up a couple of submission attempts. Edgar's not really going to be able to pass over the guard. Marlon Vera's in the center of the cage, just elbowing on bottom, landing total strikes, looking up at the clock while keeping posture and making sure that Edgar can't posture up and total strike and throw significant strikes even of ground and pound. Edgar's going to try passing guard. Vera reclaims guard, puts himself on bottom, more elbows. I think he might slice open Edgar with an elbow off bottom, but Edgar's going to win the round based on top control and total strikes. 10-9 Edgar in the first. Vera in the second round. Edgar shoots a takedown. This time Vera's getting back up, throwing knees to the body. Couple of good uppercuts, couple of good elbows in close in the clinch off the break as well, and good shots at range. Edgar's having moments on the feet in a second as well, but you're starting to see Vera get some reactions out of Edgar. The front kicks to the body are starting to sting. You can hear him a bit more. The leg kicks are starting to add up as well that he was throwing at the start of the first round. Edgar's shooting a bit more desperately now. He's getting them, but Vera's popping right back up or throwing up a submission attempt and making Edgar not want to be in his guard as much anymore because he can't rest there and he's sort of damaged. He's got blood trickling over his eye. He's got a cut over his eyebrow. And I think Marlon Vera is going to start to pick him apart on the feet, walk him down. Third round starts. I think I'm going to call a 10-8 round for Marlon Vera, beating the shit out of Frankie Edgar. Edgar's going to be bloodied up. He's going to be swinging back in bursts. That's going to get the crowd going. Oh my god, Edgar's so tough. How tough is Frankie Edgar, the legend? What a Vera. Vera's going to be picking him apart though, landing knees to the body, big elbows off the break in the clinch, maybe dropping him at one moment, but Edgar gets a sudden takedown and they're sort of tied up against the cage. Round's over. 10-8 third round for Marlon Vera. Second round Marlon Vera. First round Frankie Edgar. 29-27 Vera. Moving on up the card, Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili 2. I'm going to go over Rose Namajunas via rear naked choke submission. I think that Zhang Weili, not Wang Zhili, I think she's going to lose it by a third round rear naked choke, I'll go with. No, I'll go second round rear naked choke. Rose Namajunas, Zhang Weili, very hesitant first round. Namajunas lands the bigger shots on the feet, but Zhang Weili lands more of them. Good leg kicks, good body shots, a couple of good head shots as well, but Rose Namajunas lands a couple of big head shots that look like they sort of stumble Zhang Weili for a second, and lands some good leg kicks of her own, a couple of head kicks that are partially blocked that get the commentators going a little bit. Then, second round, I think they're going to be colliding in the middle a lot, both throwing some heavy shots at the start of the second. I think they're going to end up in the clinch. Zhang Weili maybe is going to go for a throw whilst off balance in the clinch, and Rose Namajunas is going to get a body lock in the centre of the cage. Zhang Weili's giving up her back. She's trying to defend in the centre. Namajunas is sort of trying to knee round from the back position, land a couple of punches, get the body lock again. Zhang Weili sort of moves over to the cage to try and break the grip, but Rose Namajunas is going to trip her, sweep her to the ground. Zhang Weili's going to turn over, give up her back. Rose Namajunas is going to jump on it. Zhang Weili's going to stand up with Rose Namajunas on her back, trying to defend the choke. She's going to be getting choked out. She's going to be walking forward, trying to fight it as much as she can. Then she's going to bend over. Her knees are going to start to go sloppy, and I think she's going to face plant and not tap. And it's going to be a standing rear naked choke for Rose Namajunas. And I think Zhang Weili face plants out cold from a rear naked, standing up. Moving on up to main card. The main event, sorry. The big one, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. I'm going to go with Kamaru Usman third round KO. I believe that Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington are going to have a great first round. I believe Colby Covington's going to win that first round. I believe that. Covington will out-volume Usman early. I think he'll land some of the big shots. Usman will land some big shots back, but again, Covington's chin will be on good display. He'll take a couple of big shots. He'll sort of shake it off like, what? I'm not like Masvidal, like Burns, who'll have that sort of ego moment where he's doing okay and he's landing some big shots. Good inside leg kicks from Colby Covington. Usman's throwing the front kick to the body, some body shots of his own, a couple of big shots upstairs, but Covington's just starting to tally up some big moments. Landing a shot that maybe stumbles Usman back, but Usman's fine. He just looks a little bit off balance when he gets hit. Changes his footing around, switches stances a little bit, starts moving around on the outside. They start trading in the first round around the 3-minute mark. Covington blasts a double leg out of nowhere and gets Usman to the ground, and Usman gets right back up. But Covington pushes him against the cage. Usman's getting up, throws a couple of body punches. Covington takes him down again, but Usman gets back up again. Covington takes the backside, couple of knees to the fire, couple of punches up top as well. Then takes him down again, but Usman gets back up to one knee against the cage again. Covington's not really getting any positional advantage, but they separate with about a minute to go in the first round. Both guys landing good shots on the feet, but they give it to Covington in the first because he had the moment with the takedown, and he landed like 3 more significant strikes maybe. Usman landing some of the bigger shots, but they're going to go with Covington in the first. Second round, Usman's digging to the body a bit more. Covington's landing some good shots on the feet as well. Usman's starting to land bigger shots on the feet. Covington's getting a little bit flustered, a little bit swollen up on the face. Usman's taking some big shots. Usman's kicking to the body a bit more. Covington sort of hunches over a bit after a body shot, takes some big shots up top, but lands a few big shots back, and they're like, oh my god, how tough is Colby Covington still throwing back here in the second round? After the momentum starts to look like it's about to change, Covington shoots with about a minute and a half left, gets Usman down. Usman gets back against the cage. Covington's going to try and shoot again, but he's going to give up position, and Usman's going to reverse him on the ground, land a couple of big shots. Covington gets back up to his feet. He's against the cage now with Usman in over-under position, landing big body shots, landing some good foot stomps, some knees to the thigh, more body shots from Usman in the clinch, over-unders. They separate. Both guys land big shots at the end of the second. Usman landing a couple of big ones to the body. Third round. Usman, couple of big body shots early on. Covington lands a bit of a flurry. Usman pulls back, big right hand counter, or big left hand counter, right on the chin of Colby Covington. No, right hand counter. What the fuck am I talking about? Big right hand counter from Kamaru Usman on the chin of Colby Covington. Covington's going to stumble backwards. He's going to be fine. He's going to panic shoot as Usman rushes in for a finish. Shoot a takedown, get a couple of punches sort of to the behind the ear area as he's shooting a single leg. Couple of punches to the body as well. Covington's going to make his way back up after a failed takedown. A failed takedown from Covington. They're back up in the centre of the cage. Covington throws back but gets body shotted again and he's starting to hunch over. Oh, really taking it badly. This time Usman blasts another big shot, drops Covington. Covington scrambles over to the cage, is looking for a single leg but he can't quite get it. Usman's got wrist control. Big pounding shots from Usman in the third round. TKO finish. Covington's going to minorly complain but this time it's going to be a clear result. TKO for Kamaru Usman in the third round. Covington shelling up against the cage after being hurt to the body and dropped afterwards and searching for a single leg like Dillashaw against Cejudo, but less controversial. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.